Hey church family, how are you doing this week? And more specifically, how are you doing when it comes to everything that you've got to do? In Matthew 11:28, Jesus extends the invitation, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." For some of us, the idea of rest sounds really good. It seems like we make to-do lists and never get everything on them done. And so the things that don't get done carry over to the next week's to-do list. But the problem is that next week there'll be plenty of stuff for you to do, even if you're not starting off the week with leftovers from this week. There is a human natural phenomena. The more behind we are, the faster we go. Once we get lost, we start driving faster. When we don't know what we're talking about, we start to talk faster and louder. One of the sayings I picked up through the years is, "The faster I go, the behinder I get." I wasn't sure where it came from, so I researched it and I discovered that it's a phrase that morphed from what Lewis Carroll wrote in Alice in Wonderland, where he said, "The hurrier I go, the behinder I get." But I digress. There was a lesson learned from back in the day when people traveled by ship, and that lesson was, during severe storms, sometimes the best action we can take is to drop anchor. Why? Because an anchor wedges itself deep into the rocks and sand and keeps the ship and the crew from being set dangerously adrift and possibly crashing into the rocks. In our personal storms and most stressful moments, we need to be anchored securely, not in wishes and hopes, but securely in God and His promise. There's another old saying that says, if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. Busy is a tool that Satan uses to get us off track and to steal our time. Sometimes it doesn't take blatant sin to rob us of what God has for us. Sometimes we miss it because we fill our lives with busyness. In Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42, we have a snapshot of a visit that Jesus makes to the home of two sisters, Mary and Martha. If you're not familiar with the story, go back and read it now. It's just 5 verses. It'll take you less than a minute to read. Go, read it now. I'll wait. In that story, we see that the one sister, Mary, enjoys connecting with Jesus, while the other sister, Martha, is preoccupied with the busyness of hospitality and meal preparations. And the busy sister, Martha, complains about lazy Mary. Jesus responds by saying, "Mary has chosen what is better." And the lesson is painfully clear. Connecting with Jesus is a better choice than busyness. There will always be more to do than we can get done. And so many of us are tired of rushing from one activity to the next, constantly checking our schedules, arriving late, and always feeling a little bit elsewhere after we arrive. There's a gnawing sense inside us that we can't keep up the pace. And the truth is, we don't want to. Most people I talk to are tired of being tired all the time, tired of the emptiness that comes from too much busyness and not enough God. Thankfully, God offers a better way than running on empty. He invites us to walk instead of run and find rest for our weary souls. Yes, there are real tasks to accomplish today, just as there were in Mary and Martha's day. But never forget that Jesus affirmed Mary's choice as best. Today, make the choice to accept Jesus' invitation of connection and rest. And if you don't know where to start, take a minute and go back and reread that story of Mary and Martha from Luke 10, 38 to 42. A minute is all it'll take. And if you don't know where to find it, there's a link to it right below this video. And as you read the story, ask God to show you what He'd have you learn from it, and then take those lessons to heart. Have a great week, church.